Alright guys, I want to get things kicked off and give you an idea of what this class is all about. Now, the first thing I want you to realize is this is very much a test class for future animation courses. All of the projects and the curriculum that I cover are going to be the kind of things that I want feedback on to see what works and what doesn't. In the future, we want to offer animation every year, and we want to offer it as a regular course. So if I know what works best, I can hit the ground running and be able to offer a great, spectacular program for future students. And it's going to start with you guys this semester. The second thing to know is that this is very much an introduction to digital animation. We're going to cover a lot of different topics, but we're not going to go very deep into those topics. Instead, I want to focus on the basic fundamentals it takes to create a digital animation. And I want to give you an appreciation for any animations that you've seen before and that you'll see in the future. From this, you'll have the basic stepping stones to create your own animations, either as a student working on projects or as a working professional in your own career. The final thing to know about this class is that it's a hybrid class. This means all of my instruction is going to be given online, on our Moodle page, through videos, or through things to read online. But throughout the semester, I want to have some one-on-one meeting times for you to be able to show me your work and also give me time to answer any questions or address any difficulties that you may have. Because it's an online hybrid class, it's up to you to find some time during the week when you can work on these projects and to be able to keep up with all of the classwork and assignments that we have. So, what are some of the outcomes? What are the main focus areas that we're going to talk about throughout the semester? Well, there's three different things that I want you to be able to do by the end of this term. The first thing is to recognize the principles of animation. Then I want you to recognize when some different techniques that are used in animation, and also to be able to use the software to create your own digital animations. So to break these down a little bit further, let's talk about the principles of animation first. When you think back to basic design and you learned the principles and the elements that create a good composition, so these are things like line, shape, value, texture, rhythm, balance, and harmony. All of those come together to give you a good, solid working composition for a work of art. Well, animation has fundamentals and principles too that all animators have to learn. These are things like timing and keyframing, how to add lip syncing, how to build anticipation, many more. All of these are what is used to bring your drawings and bring your stories to life. I want you to be able to recognize when these are used in stories and when they're most appropriate for you to use for your own animations as well. The second thing we'll cover are some of the techniques of animation. Now, there's a variety of different ways you can create animations, not just on the computer. There's traditional hand-drawn techniques, there's photographic and cinematographic techniques. Maybe you've seen animation that use clay or Legos. For our class, we're primarily going to focus on computer-generated animation. The main reason we're using a computer is because we have those tools in front of us and we have the software loaded on this computer. But also, software and the computer-generated animation is what the industry is starting to move towards, and I want you to be able to be prepared for that in your career. Now, there's three different techniques that you can use to create a digital animation. The first is the traditional frame-by-frame drawings. This is where every frame of a video has a different drawing, and when you put them all together, and they're all slightly different, it creates that illusion of a lifelike drawing. Now, this does take a lot of time and it takes a lot of effort, so we're going to break it down into the principles it takes to set those up. The second way you can use a computer to make an animation is use what's called object tweening. Now, this leverages your computer's ability to do all of the work. You'll generate one solid object and give it a starting position, then you'll give it an ending position and tell the computer to generate the frames in between that starting and stopping point. Now, this is a lot easier to do, and so a lot of modern animations use this technique to create their own digital animations as well. The final kind of animation is what I call scripted animation. By scripted, I mean you're using a computer's script or a programming language to add a little bit of interactivity to the animations that you create. You see this used in web design and app design, any kind of animation where you want to add user interaction or maybe some random elements to your animation. And this is best done by using a computer. The third thing we're going to talk about and will be integral to all of our projects is the software used to create an animation. Now, I'm very much aware that there's a lot of different software out there. In the Adobe Creative Suite, there's 5 different programs you can use to create animations from. Outside of Adobe, there's hundreds more different programs. Each one of these has their pros and cons. Some of these software only work on a frame-by-frame basis. Some of these software you can add scripts to, and some maybe even work with three-dimensional animation. Some of these are completely free, and some are professional and very, very expensive. I've chosen to use Adobe Animate for this particular class for a variety of reasons. First of all, you can create frame-by-frame, object tweening, and scripting all within this one software. It's very powerful and very intuitive to be able to use that way. Second, it works well with both vector and raster-based artwork. So if you're used to creating your own stuff in Adobe Illustrator or drawing your own hand-drawn creations, you can import both of them into your works. It's also compatible with other Adobe software. Because this is an Adobe product, you'll find it very easy to transition and to be able to use some of the tools in this software if you've also been using Photoshop and Illustrator and other creative software. The layout of the palettes and even the names of some of the tools are exactly the same. But the main reason is this software is what's being used by a lot of professionals, both on the web and on television and feature films. Adobe Animate's been around for a while. Before it was called Animate, it was called Adobe Flash. And Flash was one of the fundamental pillars for creating web content for many, many years. It's evolved into the software that we have today, and it's focused primarily on creating these kinds of animation and to give digital creators the tools necessary for create quick and simple animations. The bottom line is this. I want to give you a good, firm foundation and an education in digital animation. Regardless what software you're working in, if you know the principles and the techniques that it takes to create a good animation, regardless where you go in your career, you'll be able to produce good, solid work. From there, your portfolio will be much, much richer and much stronger, and you'll be able to grow off of these principles and build on your own techniques and your own personal way of working. So I'm very excited to see what you guys are going to create this semester. I'm eager to learn myself. Let's get started.